Welcome to your third trimester or late pregnancy flow. This will be a really relaxing and gentle flow. So you're going to bring one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And then start to bring some deep breaths down into your heart and towards your baby. And keeping those long deep breaths, release your right hand down next to you and lift your left arm overhead for a beautiful side stretch. And then coming to the other side, left hand down, right arm to the sky, stretching to your degree today. And then coming to the center, bring the fingertips behind you, interlace the hands, lift the heart to the sky, inhale. And exhale, release. Now from here, hands underneath the shoulders, knees can be as wide as the hips or wider. And then begin to circle with your hips and your spine. So you can make this as gentle or as strong as you need today. So especially at the end of your pregnancy, you will feel you have low energy days and high energy days. So really do what feels nice to you. You can incorporate your shoulders and your head. Make sure you go to the other side now. So you're just circling out your spine, rocking your baby, releasing any tension from your back. So the weight of your baby on the front will start to pull on your back muscles a little bit or a lot. And just make sure you release this with some cat-cows or circles like we're doing here. So slowly coming back to the center, and then begin to move your big toes together, knees nice and wide, and come to a little child's pose. Now, if this is uncomfortable because the belly is touching the ground, then you can always sit on a blanket or a pillow. You can have your elbows in front of you, maybe your thumbs between your eyebrows, just a nice little massage. And release your hands and slowly rising back up to hands and knees. Curl your toes under and melt back to downward dog. If downward dog starts to feel awkward at one point or you have heartburn, then just stay on your hands and your knees. If you're in downward dog, inhale, lifting the heels high, hips to the sky, and exhale, lower the heels to the earth. Inhale, lifting the hips and the heels, and exhale, lower. One more time, creating some stretch in the legs, circulation through the body. And exhale, release. Good. Bring your knees back to the ground if you're in downward dog. And then inhale, let the heart rise for cat-cow. Exhale, round your back, lift your baby towards you. Inhale, letting the heart rise, shoulders back. And exhale, round your back, lifting between the shoulder blades where it gets a little bit tight. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round. One more time, inhale to lift. Now exhale, start to walk your hands back to your feet and stand on your feet. So you're in a forward fold. Maybe it feels nice to completely fold forward. If your belly is getting too big, bring your elbows onto your knees or your thighs. Taking a breath here, relax your head. And then from there, start to slowly come up. Bring your feet wider than your mat with your toes out and your heels in. And then begin to move your shoulders from side to side. Now, we're not really twisting here. It's really just upper body moving from side to side. The belly stays in the center. Do that one more time. And then coming to center, this time hands in front of you. Bring your heels out, toes forward. Feel free to stay here or maybe place your hands on blocks. Or if it feels good, fold more forward. Now you can stay steady, or if just movement is what you need today, then sway from side to side with the spine, bending one knee at a time. Really connect to your breathing. Remember that you're breathing for 2 here. And then slowly coming back into the center. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lengthen your spine. And then walk your hands forward so you can softly step back with your feet and bring your knees to the ground. From here, big toes together, coming into child's pose. Stretch your arms forward. And then rise back up. Inhale. This time, exhale, curling the toes under and coming to downward dog. Again, feel free to stay on your hands and your knees or in child's pose. Now, if you're in downward dog, you can bend one knee at a time and stretch through the other leg. So you're getting, again, some length, some circulation in your legs. If you're in hands and knees, you can stretch one leg and then the other, alternating. And then coming to the center. From here, knees come back down on the ground, just like before. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, round your back, lifting between the shoulder blades, lifting your baby towards you. Inhale, heart goes forward, shoulders back. And exhale, rounding the spine, drop your head. Inhale, one more time, lifting. And now, if it feels good to you, walk your hands more forward. Make sure your knees are wider than your hips for Anahata Asana. If this makes you feel uncomfortable in any way, stay on your hands and your knees. Now, if you like a little bit more of a stretch through the upper body, then bring your hands together and bend your elbows. Feeling that wonderful release in the spine, keeping a little bit of a lift in the belly so you're not hanging in your lower back. And then sliding back onto your knees. Interlace your fingers behind your back and now open your chest. Beautiful stretch for the chest here and the shoulders. And exhale, release. Bring your hands out in front of you and slowly walk back to your feet. Again, standing on your feet. Bring your feet as wide as you like. Staying higher with your elbows on your thighs or going all the way forward if it feels good. Making sure to release any tension from the neck and the head. And then rising up. Again, coming into goddess pose or yogic squat. And then this time, hands come in front of the chest. Little pulsations here. Inhale, lifting, and exhale, sitting deeper. Try to keep the tailbone long, so the lower back is long. And hug your baby towards you. Now release your hands down in front of you. That same stretch, pressing the heels out, staying here, heart forward, or walking the hands more in line with the feet. Also, this time, if you feel like staying steady, please do so. Otherwise, make a little flow through the spine, through the legs. Just enjoying this wonderful time to relax for yourself and your baby. And then coming back to center. When you feel ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lengthen your spine, and then walking back forward slowly. Bring the knees to the earth, big toes together, and sitting back on your heels, wisdom pose. Taking a long, deep breath towards the hips, and then rising one more time up to hands and knees. Curl your toes under and come to downward dog or staying on hands and knees. Long deep breaths through the nose, steady hands, steady feet. And then starting to lower the knees down. Bring your chest to the sky when you inhale. Exhale, round your back. This is such a wonderful but simple movement. That's really great to do just every day during your pregnancy. And just one more lift when you inhale. And when you exhale, begin to walk your hands forward into that heart pose, Anahata Asana. Either staying on your hands or this time on your fingertips to stretch more through the shoulders. Always notice what feels good. Never do anything that feels weird or awkward. And beginning to slide your hands back, sit on your heels. And now this time you're going to take your arms by your sides and to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, hands through the center in front of your heart. Inhale, lifting the arms to the sides and up. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Exhale through the center and down. One more time, lifting and reaching, opening the heart, and exhale. Staying here for just a few breaths. Breathing long and deep through the nose. And then bring your feet to one side. Now for the next few poses, you might want to have an exercise ball. If you don't have that, which is absolutely understandable, then just take a chair. That will work too. Now you can sit on a pillow or a blanket and then take your ball or the chair in front of you. Your legs are in a nice and wide V. If you're rounding your back here, then sit higher on the pillow or blanket. Now rest your hands in front of you on the ball. You can stay upright, especially if you're feeling your hamstrings are a little tight today. Or you can walk your ball more forward or the chair and start to stretch through the upper body. Now, if you still want to do this a little bit more and your hamstrings feel tight, you can always bend your knees, but make sure that the feet are flexed. So that means the toes are pointing up to the sky. And also if you're sitting upright, you're still getting a wonderful stretch through the inner thighs, the hamstrings. And if you're walking your ball out in front of you, feel if you can release between the shoulder blades so the back of the heart relaxes more towards the earth. Now you're going to slowly come up if the ball was in front of you or the chair. And now we're going to rest on it. So you can just cross your elbows and rest one cheek on the ball or your arms. And if you're on a chair, you can do this too. You can just put a pillow on a chair and relax here. Now I would like you to breathe all the way down in your hips, visualizing that you're sending golden light to your baby. And then golden mist into your hips. Breathing golden light to your baby and golden mist to your hips. And if your head is turned to one side, bring it to the other side so that your neck is even. Continuing your beautiful movement of your breath towards your baby and towards your hips. And then come out of the pose very slowly. Take your ball or your chair over to one side. You can also do this without a ball or a chair. And then reach the opposite arm overhead for a wonderful side stretch. And coming back to center, to the other side. So remember, you can just let your hand rest on your leg instead. That's absolutely good too. And just like using the ball for a little bit more height. And then coming back to center. Now you're going to hug your legs around the ball. If you're using a chair, it might not be super comfortable. So then make sure you're putting a blanket between the chair and the legs here. So also here, just resting your arms down in Baddha Konasana, relaxing the forehead or one cheek, breathing down to your baby and into the hips. Especially if you're doing a lot of yoga or Pilates, then sometimes it means the pelvic floor muscle is a little bit tight. If you notice that's you, you're really holding tension down under, then just use the last few weeks of your pregnancy to consciously release. So you can do that on your exhalations, relaxing the pelvic floor muscle towards the ground. And then begin to slowly release the pose. And we're just going to have a wonderful rest in Shavasana. So lay down on your left side, which you always do in Shavasana after the first trimester. You can bring a pillow or a blanket between the knees, or let one knee rest on a blanket. And maybe stretching your arm out feels nice. So you can rest your head on your arm or on a pillow. And your right hand can be on your baby. So just make yourself comfortable. It's a little bit different for everyone. And we're going to just relax as much as we can into the ground, letting all the muscles release. Letting the face relax, shoulders, chest and the belly, back, hips, thighs, knees, calves, and feet. Let the palms of your hands be soft. Visualize again, sending beautiful golden light to your baby. And feel free to stay here for as long as you have time for. Or join me and slowly come back up. And take your pillow or your blanket behind you, sit down. Cross your legs in front of you and rest your hands down with your thumb and your index finger touching. Take a long deep breath through the nose. Long exhales through the nose. Feeling completely at peace with whatever you're experiencing today. And then let your hands come together in front of your heart. Bow your head to your heart and your baby. May our babies always benefit from our practice. Namaste.